Okay, welcome back to the podcast. And, eerie beloved, we are gathered here today again with
Morgan.
Yay! Bessie's back for another week.
Yeah.
My parents are in Italy. Garrett and Liam are dealing with midterms and finals.
And I have nothing else to do.
So we have Bessie here.
Yes.
Thank goodness. And today we're going to be doing another rendition of scary Reddit stories. And I'm going to be hitting Morgan with some spooky stories.
I can't wait to react. I'm so excited.
Good. Okay, this first story is coming from r/Let's Not Meet from 12 years ago.
Okay. Wow. 12 years ago?
12 years ago.
2013, 2014?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it's called The Tent in the Trees.
Starting off strong. Okay.
This story takes place in August of 2013.
Okay.
In the mountains of southern Oregon. I'm a USAF Security Forces airman, military policeman. My girlfriend was at work, and as a sweltering hot day began to turn into thunderstorms, my buddy Nick, another military cop, and I decided to explore some back roads and get out of the heat in town. Southern Oregon is crisscrossed with logging roads, some actively used and many totally forgotten and grown over. Nick and I spent many of our days starting on roads that we knew, finding roads we didn't know, driving for hours into the mountains, eventually navigating back to paved roads. On this particular day, with storm clouds building over the mountains, we set off on a road we had never been on and began to drive into the mountains. After driving around for an hour, we hadn't seen nor heard any signs of other people in the woods. We rounded a bend in thick fir woods and emerged in a meadow that was totally surrounded by thick aspen groves. The meadow was perfectly flat and eerily still. We both noticed the strange stillness almost immediately. No birds, no insect noise, no squirrels, and certainly no other people. On the far side of the meadow, on the right side of the edge of the tree line, there was a picnic table. The table was very odd, however. It was painted a bright orange and was much larger than a typical picnic table in a park. Remarking on this, Nick drove through the meadow to get a closer look. I remember being apprehensive as we approached. The whole scenario was exceptionally strange. The overall silence of the aspen grove was unsettling. Also, it is nearly impossible to see far into the trees as aspens grow extremely close together. When we parked by the table, I hopped out of the passenger seat of the truck to check it out. I'm not very tall, only about 5'5". Regardless, the table was ridiculously oversized and practically unusable. The seats were nearly at chest level, meaning I would have had to climb up to even sit on them.
Oh. What? 5'5". Okay.
Yeah.
So like about
our height.
Yeah, I was gonna say chest level for a seat.
Mm-hmm. So not even like the table part, but just the bench.
This is like in the middle of nowhere.
Correct.
And it's bright orange.
Correct.
What in the world? Okay, go ahead.
As I was looking at the table, Nick called me over to the truck, and I noticed he was looking back into the aspens. At first, I couldn't see what he was looking at, but then I noticed a splash of color that was completely out of place in the thick trees. A small, one-man tent was set back in the trees, about 50 feet from the strange table. I had an initial feeling of dread and felt certain that there was someone in the tent, and if we could see the tent, they could see us. There were no campgrounds in the area, no people, no main roads for miles. Surely someone camping so remotely would be, at the very least, a very strange person. However, as we observed the tent, we didn't see any movement or hear any sounds coming from it. Nick suggested I called out. I didn't want to, but I did. Hey, anyone in there? I yelled. No reply. Feeling completely on edge, Nick and I thought about driving away and leaving this strange area. But we began to fear the worst. What if there was a body in the tent? What if somebody had gotten kidnapped? Foolish, I know, but we thought it all the same.
Mm-hmm.
After some debate, we decided to have Nick turn the truck around to drive away from the camp, should we need to leave in a hurry. He would be waiting behind the wheel. With my heart pounding, I started walking through the trees towards the tent.
No.
I was totally keyed up with my senses on full alert. When I reached the quote-unquote campsite, several things struck me as odd. Backpacks were scattered all over.
Nope.
No fire had been
Turn
built.
around.
No wood collected. The tent, The tent was literally full of backpacks and women's clothing.
No.
Full of dread, I turned to leave and tell Nick what I had seen. As I left, I heard Nick start yelling. Let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here. Not knowing why he was yelling, I ran back to the truck. When I broke out of the trees, I saw a beat-up old Ford Taurus on the road, blocking us from leaving the meadow. I immediately leapt into the passenger seat and Nick floored the gas pedal. The car was occupied by 2 men. A third person was laying against the window in the back. As we drove across the meadow, the driver attempted to block us from the road, but Nick drove us around them and accelerated the way we had come from. I looked back and saw the car attempting to turn around in the narrow road. Nick drove like a madman, and though I was honestly terrified that they would catch up, we hit the highway without seeing the car again. I still do not know if the person in the back was a male or female.
Backpack?
I called the state police, and they promised to send a trooper out to check out the scene. However, I received a call the next day from a trooper stating that the campsite, the backpacks, and the woman's clothing was all gone, and that he could tell people had been in the area.
Yep.
The strange table was still by the thick aspen groves. I have not returned to the area and do not intend to.
Where was this located again?
Southern Oregon.
Okay, but they don't specify.
No,
okay.
they just said
they
had
tents.
They'd gone through logging roads.
A tent. Well, I mean, if those people in that car that were trying to block them, they probably realized like, oh, somebody's gonna call. We should remove the tent and all this stuff.
Person that had been a USAF security forces airman. So this is not someone who
was like trained to know.
Traditionally scared by things that other people might be spooked by.
Right.
So like the fact that he was scared, like he's been shot at, he's been fights, he's arrested.
Right.
See people like according to one of the
he's supposed to
he's
like
in sketchy areas of the world.
Right.
But like this scenario legitimately scared him to his core. He had never been more scared.
But that's interesting. So, like, backpacks. He said there's backpacks scattered around the tent and then inside of the tent.
But also, before we get to the backpacks, the picnic table.
Yeah.
That was, like, exceptionally large.
Very interesting.
The fact that the bench was up to their chest and they were 5'5".
Right.
That was not... Why was it that big?
Yeah.
What's the reason? Why was it there?
Yeah.
What was the reason for the bright orange?
Is it to make somebody stop and be like, what's going on with this?
Well, yeah. Was it like an indicator? Like, was it a you're here type of thing? So
yeah.
Was it for the people to say like, this is where your tent is? I don't know, like a landmark almost.
I don't like it. It kind of reminds me of like
this post hardly has any comments on it, even though it is 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the comments is, this table is exceptionally strange. It was built just like a regular picnic table, but much larger than usual and painted bright orange. And some said maybe it's an art piece or something.
Yeah.
Like someone made to like attract passers by.
Because I mean,
but then another person said, what if it's an altar?
Ooh.
That just gave me chills. I know, that just gave me chills. That just gave me chills. Like in the middle of nowhere on logging roads was the reason.
Well, it's like bright orange. Like it's an indicator of some sort because orange is like very, like you look at that color because you're like warning.
It's not black. It's not green. It's not something that's going to blend in with the surrounding landscape.
There's a reason why it's visible from the road and why it's so large. And all of that. It's not a picnic table that you could really sit at because they're saying it's huge.
Yeah.
So it's a reason to make you stop and think about what's going on.
2 people in a car happened to show up when they were there.
Right.
Too. It's like, okay, could you see them? Were you watching?
Were there cameras? Were there trail?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Was this like an opening or a meadow or like some kind of field that was like, okay,
let's up to the tent.
Right.
He walked up
to the tent and to the table. Enough to know that it was only at chest height.
So were there any comments or any further?
Not really.
No?
Mm-mm.
Ooh.
Okay, so creepy level.
Okay. Creepy. Oh, creepy level. 10. Okay, let's see. Creepiness scale. I mean, obviously it's going to be up higher. I would say creepiness is probably like 8, leaning 9. Yeah. Just because it's creepy to be out there in general. Just because it's like a flat field. Again, it's giving Bambi... Like that really already freaks me out. Just that part. It's like, hello, I'm here. Like that type of stuff freaks me out. I know what you're going to say is believability.
Yes, correct.
I don't know.
It's almost like you listened to this before. And I'm believability.
I'm a fan of this podcast. I would say, like, I believe that the situation that they were in could be true.
Mm-hmm.
The believability of it. I could see that the picnic table could be true. The tent and the backpacks and the women's clothing part kind of just, like, I don't really believe, but they did say that they called the police and the police said that there was that obviously human activity, like in the area, there was something going on there. Mm-hmm. It drops it a little bit. Like, I would say maybe 5 or 6 for believability.
This next one is titled Mystery Lights Around Detroit Lake, Oregon.
No.
Yes.
No, I've been there.
It's from 2 years ago.
No, and I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared. Okay.
My dad and I went camping up at Gold Butte Lookout. From 11:30 p.m. to 1 a.m., we saw lights zigzag down the ridges into the valley while looking east towards Mount Jefferson. We also saw more lights, who are south, east, and south. They were quite large lights that would occasionally change color from bright white to cream to red. They would twinkle in and out of sight and appear about half an hour more or less from the previous sighting. Sometimes there would be only one, other times up to 3. My dad thought they were just cars or people on ATVs, that the red was the brakes. That could be what they were, to be honest, I thought. If they were cars or ATVs, it was strange that their lights were visible from the top of the ridge at Gold Butte Lookout, because any roads on the side of the ridge would have been extremely small. I would assume their lights would have been basically pinpricks, but these lights were decent size. The way that they moved made me wonder if they were drones. My pop said they couldn't be because that wouldn't make sense. He doesn't put any stock into Bigfoot or supernatural, but I do. And I wonder if what we saw were UFO crafts or even quote-unquote orbs of light that often get associated with Sasquatch, the Fae, or other paranormal entities. Anyone else see lights around Detroit Lake, Oregon, or specifically up on Gold Butte Lookout? Thoughts on what they were?
Interesting. I have to figure out where Gold Butte Lookout is compared to...
Especially because you were someone that's very familiar with that area.
Oh, way up in the mountains, like northeast. Gold Butte Lookout is up and over.
Okay, so
looking down at Detroit Lake.
It would be fair that any lights seen would be very small.
Oh, very small.
Like pinpricks.
But they said where were they seen? They
zigzag lights down the ridges into the valley while looking east towards Mount Jefferson. Okay. We also saw more of the lights to our southeast and south. They were quite large and would change color. Would you think ATVs or...
If they were large lights, I don't know. When we lived in Detroit, I feel like a lot of people had really big flashlights and you could change the color of them. And I feel like my dad would shine it on the lake and all of that. So depending on where they were looking, I could see that being a possibility of somebody just living there and just shining a light. But I wouldn't say that it could always be a person or it could always be...
Even like the few boats that do have lights or, you know, like I could easily see them.
And what time did they say what time of year this was?
No, it didn't say. It just said 11 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Okay.
But no certain time of year.
If it was like the summertime, I could see more leaning that it was a human with a flashlight.
Yeah.
First thought, you're like, oh my God, it's aliens.
Yeah.
They don't really know.
I feel like maybe not first thought anymore. I feel like first thought is drone. It's satellite.
You're trying. Well, that's you trying to make sense of it because you don't know what
I agree.
aliens are and what. Yeah, it could be.
About it.
And they said it was a white light and then a red light and then something else, or just a.
Occasionally change color from bright white to cream to red, and it would twinkle in and out. Appear about a half an hour or more or less from the previous sighting. Sometimes there'd be one, sometimes there'd be multiple.
See, that's a thing that's like, it detaches from like the human part of it.
Yeah.
Because like if you have a hold of a flashlight, you're like, oh, let me click all the colors and let me go all the way down the river and then you're done. But like you're saying,
standing there for half an hour.
Right. And then waiting and then clicking it on again and looking.
I agree.
Maybe I could see if they were searching for somebody or searching for something. Yeah, I would wonder what time of year this was. Were there any comments on this? Oh,
one person commented. There's one comment. It was deleted from 2 years ago. Also, I said this isn't r/UFOs, but I thought that was interesting, just given the fact that your family had spent significant time there, and you're familiar with that area. So
it's not as creepy to me because I would like if it were me, I'd assume that it was a person just shining a flashlight and like. But that's because of the context that I have.
Yeah,
other people doing that in my life. So. Just shining a random flashlight down the river.
Chris is responsible for this.
It's like, wait a minute. I was doing that 2 years ago on the... Yeah.
OP, I'm sorry. This is definitely Chris.
This is... Actually, sorry, you're mistaken. It's Chris Startup.
Did we do believability?
Believability, I would say it's pretty low. Like, as in for, like, aliens and stuff. Believability that it actually happened, I would say, like, a little bit up there. Like, maybe 6 or 7. Like, I could see that really happening. Believability that it's a alien or something, probably 2 or 3. Just because I know that there's a lot of drunk people that are up there. And just people being weird at that time of night. So I can see somebody with a flashlight just being kind of creepy.
Okay, this one is titled, I think I saw the actual Men in Black, and I don't know how to feel.
Okay.
It has 600 upvotes.
Oh.
It's from 3 years ago.
Okay.
So this happened a little bit ago. I was 17 at the time. It was summer, so we were heading to my uncle's house. He owns a little house near beach. In getting to his house, we had to go past a big-ass stretch of forest that spans on and on for about an hour or so. The sun was just covering everything in some nice light after it rose, and then it got weird. I remember that my dad turned off his music to pull up the GPS, and he looked at the forest watching all the trees speed by. Then I also took notice that we were the only cars on the road. The only car. None behind, none in front. I didn't see another car for like an hour and a half while driving here, besides pulling out of my driveway and getting on the road. I thought it was really weird, especially since I'm in a pretty populated area. It's Oregon, after all, in the middle of summer. I kept looking at the forest, and I shit you not, a clearing opened for a few seconds, and I saw 2 men wearing black suits and black sunglasses with black gloves and shoes tying some big, hairy creature to a tree. I just kept looking at them, and they were looking at me. Not the car, me. Like they knew I saw them. It scared the shit out of me, and I asked my dad if he saw them. He seemed confused, and then he said he didn't see a thing. He was too busy driving and looking at the GPS. I didn't really believe in strange things like this, but I couldn't explain what I saw, and I didn't know how to feel. Thinking about it now, I just get uneasy and scared. The creature that was chained up wasn't lashing around or anything or freaking out, and to make it worse, as soon as we left the forest, we joined other cars. It was like I just stepped into a crime scene. Has anyone else had an experience like this, or can I chalk it up to hyper-imagination? This person commented and said, how good of a look did you get at the creature? Is it possible it was a costume? I had friends in high school dress up as Bigfoot/bear thing to film skits for class. The storyline was really strange. So given that I'm also pretty sure at one time or another kids also dress up as Men in Black too, I think on multiple occasions I can imagine a very possible scenario. Kids combined with Men in Black and some cryptid creature for a skit. And maybe they were filming that or getting set up. The person responded, original poster, in quotes, like, is it possible as a costume, responding to that, and said, I can't really say for sure, but as I mentioned in another comment here, it was way too tall to be a person and way too wide to be a person on stilts. And the way it was standing upright was so strangely lifelike. If it was a prank, they got me good, and the acting was phenomenal. Someone said, is it possible it was a vivid dream that entered your long-term memory after the fact? Sometimes I worry about that sort of thing with some of my wild experiences. And the poster responded, said, I can confess I have very hyper-realistic dreams, but I asked my dad about it a few days ago, which is why I decided to make the post in the first place. And he laughed and said, yeah, you were so freaked out. So he remembers me being scared, but not seeing them. LOL.
How old did they say they were?
17.
17.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that stretch of woods right there is like pretty creepy in itself. So if you like get in your head about it, not saying that they didn't see people there, but like to imagine an entire being and then Men in Black. When did Men in Black come out?
Garrett, can you chime in? When did Men in Black come out? Okay, Garrett, our local Men in Black expert, is here to
1997.
Okay, so, and this was posted 3 years ago. So 2023, maybe 2022, just depending on the year.
But they gave no other context other than this is what I saw. This
Again,
is what freaked me out.
But also, like, it reminds me of what you said on the last episode. Like, could people be dressing up as this thing to, like, scare other people?
Well, yeah, and then that commenter said, like
my high school friends used to do skits,
yeah.
but on the way to the beach.
I mean,
Again,
that would
like,
be a
it's the
place to
same
do it.
roads. I don't know. That's so.
That would be the place to do it, like if you lived near there, or if you were doing something about like Sasquatch or like something like that.
I guess that is true. But if you're 17, it's not like you're 9, 10, 11, 12.
Right.
Like, you have a hyperactive
that's what I'm
imagination.
saying, like-
If anything, you'd be more skeptical.
I feel like I don't have any thoughts because like I could see how that person had that experience, but like I don't know how to like
could see
say like
I agree.
what kind of school project are you doing where you're dressing as Men in Black and
No, I know.
tying
Exactly.
a Sasquatch type figure to a tree? Like what are you talking about? What are you doing? I'm not totally denying that this person didn't see anything, but at the same time, maybe I'm not denying Sasquatch isn't real.
Okay, so creepiness and believability.
Creepiness.
No. Yeah.
If I saw that, I'd be really creeped out. But like, I don't know. Like I would say like maybe 6 is creepy.
10.
Believability, I would say like 3.5, 4.
This next one is from 5 years ago. It says, have you seen the not a deer in the PNW? I used to live in northern Washington state, having moved there from the Midwest for work. The town I lived in was big enough, it had a university, and it was close to the Canadian border, but definitely not very populated and mostly rural/forested/mountainous. Similar to the Midwest where I'm from, there's a good amount of wildlife there. I would see bald eagles, owls, hawks, raccoons, deer, and I'd see cougar prints on hiking trails. Thankfully, I never crossed a cougar's path that I know of. In the Midwest, I've seen plenty of deer. Can't throw a stick without hitting one. Black bears on several occasions, and even been terrifyingly close to a moose once on accident. I'm telling you all this so you know that I am 100% sure that what my brain told me at first was a deer was not a deer. On the night I saw it, several years ago, I was heading to work about 11 p.m. I had been working the overnight shift for several weeks at this point, so I was pretty used to the weird time to be working. I wasn't especially tired and had already been awake for more than an hour getting ready and had a cup of coffee. My commute consisted mostly of driving through flat land since it's near the coast, with lots of trees broken up by small fields. The road was lit with street lamps, but not enough to be always well lit the entire drive. I was coming around an unlit bend with a field on my right and a thick median on my left. I saw a deer walking away from the road in the field, so I immediately let my foot off the gas and looked for more that might come out of the trees. Rarely did I ever see a lone deer. Always at least 2, sometimes as many as 10 crossing together. The deer was far enough ahead, still walking, that I looked back at it again as it passed by. As it passed, though, I realized it wasn't a deer at all. It was just very wrong. I really don't know how else to describe it. It had stopped in the field and it just wasn't a deer anymore or anything like a deer. It was bigger than deer, at the very least, and I had felt like it was observing me as I passed by it. I had a sinking feeling in my gut you get when something you dread is about to happen is definitely going to happen. But I went past it, stepped on the gas, and got back above the speed limit while gripping the steering wheel. Nothing dreadful happened. I got to work fine. I've moved to a different state now, but I used to always look out for the not deer whenever I drove late at night to and from work. I have no clue what I'd do if I saw it again. It wasn't the only weird thing that happened to me there, but it is one I think about the most. Is there anyone from the Pacific Northwest here that has heard of something similar? See, I've heard of that before.
Have you really?
Yes.
About wait, what? When?
Okay, wait, we have quite a few comments on this,
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah. Okay, this comment says, the description you gave sounds very similar to a creature of Native American folklore. The SW, I'm not going to say it, because you're not supposed to. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
They are reported as looking like a deer or similar type animal.
No.
They have thin legs and long bodies. Some can be very tall and others average height. They have been reported with horns or antlers on their
I've heard
heads.
that around.
Yes, I have too. They are very fast, can run towards you at an aggressive charge, or they can rather stealthily in watches of sizing up their prey. Normally, sightings, I'm not going to say it, SW, can fill you with dread, shock, or disbelief. I have a limited knowledge of folklore in its entirety. However, these entities have been in forested areas, have been seen in forested areas mostly, although they have been seen in my state of AZ in the desert. As far as I know, they can or have been seen all over the country. Creepy.
I don't like that at all.
No.
I don't like that at all. Now I'm going to
Absolutely
see.
not.
Okay. A woman, right? By herself in a car driving
Is it a
at
woman?
night.
Did you think
don't
it
know.
was a woman?
I would assume, but that's just
See,
me.
very strange. I thought it was a man.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, I guess maybe I assume that because of the way that they described
That's fair.
the way that their experience with it. Now I won't ever drive a dark stretch of road in the forest
You have to drive
the same ever again. Seeing a deer, and this person said that they've seen a moose before. Those are very different things. Like, you know what a deer looks like, and you know what a moose looks like. I've never seen a moose. Like, maybe I've seen a moose, but like, I've never seen like a moose in the wild, like in the dark,
right,
like that. So I don't really understand how big they are.
This person recognizes that's not
right. Is like not a deer. Like, they obviously know that it's not a deer and it's not a moose. SWs. I'm not gonna say it either because I'm scared of why you wouldn't say it, so I'm not gonna say it. Part of it really freaks me out.
We have other comments.
Okay, go ahead.
So, okay, this person said, kind of similar encounter, but a different scenario. Also, I know exactly what school you were at. I lived up there for about 15 years. My encounter was in the woods southeast of Seattle on a place called Rattlesnake Ridge. I actually grew up in that area, so I know it very well. One day, I was out in the thick woods and heard something walking through the bushes. I thought it was a deer first, so I kind of started looking around. All of a sudden, this thing started crashing towards me, very aggressive. It sounded very large, going very fast. I then thought it had to be herd elk, but it was running way too fast through thick forest to be an elk. I could hear its pounding footsteps. I got the sense of dread like I was about to be run over by a train if I didn't get out of there. So I ran until I almost passed out. One of the most terrifying experiences of my life. Bears in that area aren't that big. Cougars aren't that big. I've encountered both many times. This thing sounded huge. I guess it could have been a couple elk, but it was such a thick forest in an area away from where elk usually hang out. Plus, I have no idea how elk could have been running that fast through the woods. The ground was literally thumping like a dinosaur was coming through me. Someone else responded to that comment and said, we had this too. The dinosaur stomping noise is coming way too fast through the bushes. There is also cackling all around us, behind us, in front of us, and up in the trees. We kept expecting to see hikers come around the bend walking towards us laughing, but it never happened. We ran full speed back to the car. This happened in Olympic National Forest, and I've never been afraid of the woods before that day.
Cackling?
Someone responded to that comment. So this is like 3 different people and said, the Olympic National Forest is no doubt some of the creepiest woods in the Pacific Northwest. So thick, ancient, and dark feeling. But yeah, you know then. You can sense how heavy this thing is behind you stomping. Your reptilian instincts kick in and you just run. Maybe a few seconds of curiosity and then absolute sheer terror.
I don't know. Like, it's giving Sasquatch energy, but like,
ooh, I'm looking to see if anyone commented about that, because that's kind of immediately where I was thinking too, like bipedal, it's on 2 legs, like type of thing, and it's obviously deer are not allowed when they're going through brush
in those forests.
No, and I don't know. To me, deer are like delicate little.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying SWs, Wendigos. You know
what did you say? What it?
Wendigos.
Wendigos?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what that is.
This person said, well, at the very least, glad it wasn't a T-Rex. And girl, unfortunately, that's where my brain would have
Unfortunately,
gone.
it was enough.
I would have been scared of a T-Rex. A Wendigo. Let me look it up for you. It's a malevolent, supernatural, cannibalistic spirit from the Algonquin-speaking indigenous cultures, associated with winter famine and extreme greed. Depicted as towering, emaciated humanoid with gray skin and sharp claws. It represents an insatiable hunger for human flesh. It's supposed to be an immortal figure, but like kind of at what cost? Like you feed on other people's flesh. So
yeah. Well, if it was like a animal that was trying to feed on human flesh, they're not doing a really good job. considering that the person is like already there and then Creepjot starts running away and then they don't catch them. They just scare them enough to scare them away. They don't.
This person commented and said, the knot deer is its own thing. It's more common in Appalachia, mainly West Virginia, Western Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Eastern Tennessee and Kentucky. I've not ever seen one personally, but I've heard the knot deer's eyes are too close together, has too many eyes or legs. Eyes look too intelligent for a deer, and the joints bend backwards. It has jaws of the wolf or coyote and can walk on its hind legs. Looking wrong is a good way to describe one.
Oh, ew. Because that's what I don't imagine is like some sort of hybrid of an animal that we've never seen before that we don't understand.
Okay, believability.
Believability. I don't want to believe.
I want to choose not to.
I don't want to believe it. I would say maybe a 6. I would believe it as a 6. I could say that it could be argued a different way. Like it could be a different type of animal that they don't understand or don't want to see. But I'm not saying that it's not completely and totally not true.
Mm-hmm.
Creepiness is like, I would say maybe 7, maybe as creepy. Being the Olympic National Forest, I know that it's a pretty big forest and a lot of people go missing or a lot of people are dumped there or a lot of people, like I would see how, but I'm also leaning towards like some sort of animal hybrid that we've never experienced before.
It could be.
It's very much giving Sasquatch and stuff like that.
After looking through all the comments, I'm so surprised that no one mentioned that.
Yeah.
Everyone was just like SWs, Wendigos, not deers. It was never. No one ever said Sasquatch, which is strange.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look. Maybe Sasquatch is just more of a thing that's common in Oregon forests.
Yeah, no one ever said anything about it. It's so weird.
He isn't going to Washington. Sorry.
He only likes Oregon forest.
No, but we know he does because we saw that Sasquatch stuff at that one store.
Right. Another thing is like there's no other person with you to calm the story.
And I almost wish there was another person to
be like, oh yeah,
I saw that too. We saw that. Like I talked to this person after I saw it and they agreed that it was strange. Like they corroborated. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But not saying that there isn't anything creepy out there because and I would never drive through the Olympic. And guess what? I can't go to the beach. I can't go through the Olympic National Forest. I'm never going to Washington again. You can't make me. Me try
not to the beach. Not going to Detroit Lake.
Me try to cross the border. No, you can't make me.
If you're driving, I hope you're not listening to this because I'm scared and I'm just sitting in my apartment. And
I have to drive home after this in the dark.
My poor friend has to drive home, unfortunately, in the dark. Thank you for being here again. Thank you for letting me. I feel like you're here against your will, so I'm like, sit down. I'm gonna tell you this
very side story that's really, really creepy.
I'm gonna make you be scared of any forest,
my dreams
any highway, Sorry, you can't go east anymore to your parents' house.
Drive anywhere that's dark.
Nope.
Or there's a field involved.
Hey, shout out daylight savings time because that just kicked in and it will not be dark anymore. If you have a story of your own that you would like us to look into, read on the pod, anything like that, please write into us. eerilybelovedpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, eerilybelovedpodcast. We're also on TikTok. Post some little videos there. Hopefully we'll get video up here in a few weeks because I am moving and we have a podcast studio that we are setting up. Don't forget to listen to episodes every Thursdays. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.